So we have this FedEx truck that is parked here, and then now there's a car coming from the other side, and see how it just went around it, very human-like.
5 months ago, my wife and I had our minds blown away by our first experience with FSD Beta, thanks to Joy. So Tesla Joy has been an FSD Beta tester for almost a year. And just hours ago, she got FSD Beta 10.69.2.2. A mouthful. 5 months ago, we experienced 10.10.2. In this video, we're going to hear Joy's views on how far FSD Beta has progressed, its remaining limitations, and what she feels excited about for FSD Beta's future. So click subscribe to stay updated to more videos on Tesla. Almost a year now to your 1-year anniversary on testing FSD Beta. How does the whole journey feel for you?
It's been amazing, and I do have my own YouTube channel, so I have been tracking the progression of each FSD Beta update to see what's improved. And ironically, this morning, I published a video on FSD Beta version 10.69.2, and then a few hours later, they rolled out 10.69.2.2 to me, so that made my video from this morning completely obsolete. But from my experience, just from the video that I did, I took it on a really challenging street, and in the last year, it has progressed to the point where this time I had zero disengagement driving that challenging, tricky street, and I was so mind blown.
You'll see the streets later, and you'll also find a link to Joy's YouTube channel below. You really see a whole journey, almost a year now. The Joy Mobile has got some bling upgrades as well since our last visit 5 months ago. What has changed, Joy?
Yes, so I wanted to add a little bit of accent to my wheel caps or rims, but I couldn't find a good logo that would work. I tried to make one myself, but it came out so ugly, so I decided to accent the spokes of my rim, and I also added a little bit of a trim on the inside along the center console. So yeah, I figured if I'm blinging this out, I might just go all the way.
Go big or go home. Right now, going to dive into Joy Mobile, and I'll be behind the camera as Joy walks us through the same route, and we'll see how FSD Beta 10.69.2.2 performs. We're now inside the Joy Mobile, taking the same test route as the earlier video, and you can see the FSD Beta visualization in the center console. And as Joy showed us last time, you can actually make this visualization a full screen. Ta-da!
Here is a first test. So this is we are going straight, but this is a major road. So the cars are coming in, and the car kind of went up a little bit, and then it stopped when it saw the cars coming in from both sides. So this is a good test of FSD Beta. So it says autopilot is creeping forward. So now it looked both ways, and it realized that now it's clear, and then we could move forward.
Very confident, very smooth.
Yes. So this is a difference with the 10.69 version compared to the previous version. Is this is a lot more confident than the previous version. Now we have another scenario coming up. So we have this FedEx truck that is parked here, and then now there's a car coming from the other side, and see how it just went around it, very human-like.
Yeah.
And then this intersection is also tricky because it's a two-way stop sign. So I stop and the incoming traffic stop, but the side ones, they don't stop. So now, again, the car saw there are cars coming from that side, like on the screen. And so now it's telling, and so it's waiting for the cars to pass. And now it's clear, and then we go. So again, it's very tricky. This neighborhood is actually pretty tricky because of these different stop signs that are not all four ways. And there are a lot of pedestrians as well at this time. There's a school nearby, and also Santa Monica is a tourist spot. So actually, on my way here to meet you, after I got off the freeway by 3rd Street Promenade, I actually had to disengage a couple times because it got really, really scared of pedestrians. And it was supposed to go straight, but it kind of tried to go to the other side. And so I had to kind of like, a dog or a horse, like, come back to this lane, you're okay. So that is the only, I guess, caveat with this latest version. It's not that it's not doing something correctly, it's just being extra careful.
This indexes heavily towards safety right now, especially with pedestrians.
Yes, absolutely. So it is, Elon actually tweeted a couple weeks ago that 10.69 is going to be more sensitive to pedestrians, but I don't know if they kind of overcorrected it a little bit. So hopefully they'll find that balance soon and just make it completely human-like, like how we humans make decisions when we see pedestrians.
And that's a big part of getting wider adoption because people know it's safe, but they also want to feel comfortable using it. It shouldn't be a hassle.
Yes. And also another difference between when we did the ride the last time 5 months ago versus now is, as a driver or the operator of the car, the steering wheel is less jerky when it's doing the turns. Before, the steering wheel would go something like this, trying to make the turns, but now it's a lot smoother. It's more human-like. So really great improvement.
Yeah, it looks like it's building on a lot of the confidence I experienced myself using autopilot in the freeways. And again, we all know that this is beta technology. Autopilot went through its own journey. You started autopilot way back in the day as well. You've seen how it's progressed.
Yes, absolutely. So I got this car in July 2018. The day I took delivery, I used autopilot on the freeway. And then 2 months later, I believe, or 4 months later, either September or November of 2018, Tesla released Navigate on Autopilot, which allows for auto lane change and on-ramp and off-ramp exiting. So I've been using it ever since. So pretty much, like literally day one, since the day one that I got this car, I've been using autopilot.
And now with the latest version, what has really delighted you the most of its new capabilities?
Well, the capabilities are very subtle. So like I mentioned, the smoothness of the steering wheel turning, that is really impressive. And also when I tested out the tricky street in my neighborhood that I did the video on, this was the first time where I didn't have to disengage at all. And it went smoothly, just like how I would drive, except for one little roundabout. It kind of slowed down. It was being cautious, but I didn't have to give it a nudge. I didn't have to interfere. I didn't have to disengage, and it did the whole route on its own. And that's just mind-blowing to me.
Joy, your routes are also, you mentioned in your video, they are almost like intentional stress tests, edge cases where they're more difficult than the typical route. And so you always remind people to be more cautious. For the average FSD beta user though, if they're just doing a daily commute, how much caution do they need to have?
Well, obviously you still need to pay attention of the surroundings, because there are 99% of the times these are all human drivers out there, and you can't really control other people's behavior. So my view on the ability of going full autonomy is, unless the majority of the cars on the streets are also FSD, and everybody's following the same rules. Otherwise, it's going to require human monitoring still. So like right now, I always have my one hand on the wheel, and sometimes I will like talk to you, right? And I can look around. Oh, there's a Tesla approved body shop. I just saw Tesla over there, but it's a body shop. But anyway, so I can still look around. I'm a little bit more relaxed. However, I am still monitoring my surroundings just because I don't know if someone may be on a skateboard and this person couldn't stop in time. I mean, I do trust the capability of my car, but you just don't know, right? So so yeah, this is like a daily commute route on City Street. When I used to work in Santa Monica, this is like the route that I would take on my daily commute. And now with FSD Beta, it just makes it so much less stressful, especially during rush hour traffic. So like now we had the cyclist over there, and the car kind of moved to the left a few more inches where we actually were driving on the center divider, right? So that just, again, FSD Beta being very cautious, being extra safe when it comes to pedestrians and cyclists. And then now, this is interesting because we came to this intersection, and if I were driving, I would have just stepped on the accelerator and just go, right? But then the lights start turning yellow. And so I was trying to see how Beta would react, if Beta would accelerate and go, but it stopped. And then the light turned red. So now we're kind of sitting literally on the crosswalk. So this is one minor area that Tesla still needs to improve on in terms of FSD Beta decision making, right? So again, like if I were driving a human driver, when it's yellow, I know I'm here and I have a clearance there, I would just go. But FSD Beta is like, no, let me just, stay here, right? So again, it's about how much more human it would act. So now we're clear and screen, and now we're going. But it will get there because I do see that with each update and each iteration, it's becoming more and more and more human-like.
You bring up a great point, Joy. When I was preparing to drive in LA, I was taught, make sure you just commit to your decisions. Be predictable, commit, and also just don't stop halfway.
Right.
So I want to ask you, with many FSD beta updates, often it can feel like 2 steps forward, 1 small step back. How does it feel this time?
Well, since I literally just got this a few hours ago, I can't comment on that, but there have been, not all updates, there have been a couple updates where they may fix an issue in certain locations, but then in other locations where it didn't have issues before, all of a sudden it started having issues. FSD is a really complex issue to solve because, I live here in LA. In California, we have our traffic rules, but if you go to another state in US and people drive completely differently and they behave completely differently. And not to mention, now they have it in Canada, and then people in Europe is still waiting on it, and in Asia. So when people say two step forward and 1 step back, I think it's the difficulties of pleasing everybody and getting all the traffic rules like together. So, for example, like here in California, when we make unprotected left turns, we can go into the intersection. We can pull the car up to the intersection and then do the left turn. But in certain states or even country, you have to stay behind the line, right? So that's the nuances of different driving laws and driving rules and driving behaviors that's making this very complex. So I guess the one step back is those places where maybe the algorithm is trying to satisfy certain parts, but then somehow that messed up this other part. That's my guess on it.
Just sitting here, I already feel that it's a lot more confident. I think the good thing with someone like me experiencing only once every 5 months is that the difference is more profound for me. It's probably more incremental for you.
Right.
This
Absolutely.
feels very much like a driver. Yesterday, when I was just taking autopilot on the freeway, my friend's child sitting in Tesla the first time just slept. The moment we got the freeway, it slept because autopilot was so confident.
Wow.
Here now with FSD Beta, I really feel like it's joy driving. It doesn't feel like a robot driving it. It's not robotic.
I am a robot, you just didn't know.
500 feet, turn right onto
Joy could be Tesla bot from the future. So you may see her at AI Day too, as Elon reveals the truth. Now it's not perfect. Early on,
Yeah.
there's some parts where it's a bit more tentative.
Yes.
Now turn right onto Cloverfield Boulevard.
So we're gonna turn right here, and there's a pedestrian crossing. And you can see on the visualization, it was blue. And then now we're coming onto this residential street. It's kind of narrow. And there's a speed bump that it didn't recognize. So speed bumps somehow is still a hit and miss. So there are just a bunch of different types of speed bumps. So I'm sending feedback to back to Tesla. And this one actually slowed down a little bit.
Any new capabilities from the last time? Pets, children, open doors it recognizes from last time?
No. Those are. I think those are the fundamentals that they've already addressed. Now it's just the behavior, the driving behavior that they're refining and polishing. Yeah, so it recognizes pedestrians, no problem. Garbage cans, cones, obstacles, cars. It's not a problem. It's just how much more human-like can it be? How is the decision making like?
How about potholes? Any experience with that?
No, yeah, potholes, that's still not addressed. And also here around town, there are also markings on the road. Sometimes if it's like near a fire station, it's going to say keep clear. So you're not supposed to block if you're in the traffic, but FSD doesn't recognize that yet. So if the front of the car is already at the marking, FSD will still try to get behind it. So that's another incident when I have to disengage so that I'm not going to block that that area that says keep clear.
How does it do with emergency services vehicles?
You know, I haven't had experience with it, but actually, let me take that back. I have. There have been fire trucks and ambulances I've encountered, but it doesn't really tell me anything. So I know that there is a capability, but I don't think it's working yet. So I guess one step at a time. So hopefully they'll work on this feature soon, so that when it detects the emergency lights from either a police car or ambulance or fire trucks, it will recognize it, like slow down and try to pull over to the side. Because right now I still have to do it manually.
It's already very good, it's very confident, yet FSD Beta is still classified as a level 2 autonomous driving system. Do you think the Tesla can bring this to level 4 with the current cars? Or would it need hardware 4.0 with somebody who will have high resolution radar? How do you feel?
So by the way, I just disengaged because we're at the destination. I'm gonna go into the parking lot. So hardware update is always needed, right? Because as software gets better and better and better, hardware will probably wear out, right? So, for example, with my car, when I got it, I didn't get FSD city self drive. I just had the enhanced autopilot, and my computer was on hardware 2.5. But then when I got FSD Beta, the city portion, Tesla also changed my computer to FSD computer, right? So I believe that in order for Tesla to achieve even better autonomy, it has to improve the hardware as well. And I may also have to change my car, right? So one thing I tell people is that people are like, "Hey, Joy, are you going to get a new Tesla? Whenever there's a new Tesla, are you gonna get a Cybertruck? Are you gonna get a Model S Plaid? Are you gonna get a Model Y?" My answer is no. I'm going to drive this car until the hardware cannot support the software anymore. So that's my answer to you, that if Tesla wants to advance in FSD technology, the hardware will continue to get better and better and better.
This has been a great look at FSD Beta experiencing myself. Thank you for this ride. I feel very confident. If this is a journey and if you feel like, let's say from 1 to 10, 10 is Tesla's completely self-autonomy. Joy, where do you feel we are right now?
I think we're probably at a 7.5 right now. There are, as I mentioned, some areas that I still have to disengage. I still have to nudge it a little bit. But I would say right now it's like a 7.5 to me personally.
It is pretty crazy. You look at this video, we're experiencing the future. You've got to try it yourself. Seeing a YouTube video, it's kind of like watching those YouTube videos of Tesla's accelerating. You come in here yourself, my conviction just went up again. From the high of 5 months ago, it just went up again. I'm very, very impressed by what I've experienced, not just seen, but experienced here. On the user interface, Joy, how has it changed for users in the past couple of months? Any major difference you notice?
Actually, I don't think so. Because I am on the FSD beta software and not the non-beta version, so some UI updates and enhancements I may not get until the next release. I know that Tesla has recently added a customer requested feature, which is when I turn on the turn signal, you can move the screen around, because sometimes when you're driving and then the blind spot camera comes on, it's down here, and it probably gets, sometimes you have to kind of lean over and look at it. So some of my friends have requested on Twitter, "Hey, can we move this up here so then we can just glance at it?" And Tesla released a video saying that the new software release, you can actually move it up here. You can even move it onto the navigation map area. But as you can see, no can do here. So I'm waiting for that.
Not yet. Please bring some joy to the Joy Mobile.
It's like, now if I don't use FSD, I feel so weird driving. It's so bad. It's like I don't trust myself anymore.
I actually have a question for you on this topic.
Yes.
When Tesla solves FSD, when will you want to manually drive the car, and when will you want the car to drive you?
Oh, that's a great question. I would manually drive the car when I'm in a hurry, when I'm running late. And that's what I do now. Sometimes if I know I'm running late, I would just drive myself most of the time. Not most of the time, but like initially, like rushing out the door. When I would just, do like a robo taxi is when I already have appointment set and I'm, on time, I'm okay, I'm relaxed, I'm not in a hurry, then I would totally do that. Which also brings up a interesting question that I've asked around is if Tesla is aiming for full self-driving, why do they want to make a plaid vehicle?
Good question. I think some people just love driving. It's like horse riding. They just want to do it. Not all the time. So some people say in the future, driving will truly be a joy because you choose to do it, not because you have to.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, so some people enjoy the rush, but at the same time, it's like, well, if you want FSD, then what's the speed for? Because it's being very cautious, it's being safe, and you're not driving. You don't need to launch in 1.9 seconds. So, yeah, that's the oxymoron.
That is true.
Yeah.
We are now on a freeway, and in the freeway, you'll notice that it's not on FSD Beta anymore. It's back to autopilot. Elon has mentioned that they aim to merge the city streets and freeway stack together in Beta 11.
Yes, that's correct. So this version, FSD version Beta 10, is going to be dragging on forever, I think, because I don't know when they're going to be able to merge both stacks together. So, oh, by the way, there's a new Tesla Supercharger right off the freeway that's not yet open.
There's so many more popping up. Talking about superchargers, we're heading to one ourselves. There's a new one in Santa Monica on 15th Street that is halfway open. I wouldn't even say halfway, maybe 1/3 open. Because there are, I think, like 16 stalls there and a lot more stalls are coming. There's a launch.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's going to have a total of 62 stalls. And I think I don't know how many stalls they have completed so far. Well, now it says 62, but I know the other side is not opened up yet. And one cool thing that a lot of people don't realize, especially new Tesla owner, is that when you tap on a supercharger on the map, it will actually tell you how many stalls are available and if there's a stall that's out of order.
It's really cool.
Yeah. Okay, it's asking me to pay attention. Sorry, my bad. Pay attention. See, that was when this interior camera was monitoring because my eyes were looking at this screen instead of the road.
So this is our cabin camera. And I believe that owners don't have access to this cabin camera, right, for privacy?
No. Well, yeah, no, we don't have access to it, and Tesla doesn't have, they don't store data. This is purely for monitoring my attentiveness. Yeah. So it's not recording anything. It's just like, Joy, your eyes are not on the road.
I know some of us, we ran the Tesla on two-row. You wonder, can the owner actually spy on you? Don't worry, the cabin camera is purely for safety. It is not stored at all. This supercharger that we're going to, 62 stalls, is more than double what Singapore has. We have 9 supercharger stations with 3 stalls each.
Really?
27 total
Wow.
stalls. And that's not even half of this new Santa Monica supercharger stations. And yet, it's actually not enough. We still need to build more.
I had to disengage because now the car, there are 2 left turning lanes, and the car couldn't make up the mind on which turning lane it wants to take. So it's kind of going in and out, in and out, in and out. So I had to disengage and take over myself. So that's like one of the weird incidents when FSD is confused.
When that happens, we want to report it. There is an icon we can press.
Yeah, right here.
So this camera icon is only available on cars with the FSD Beta.
Yeah.
There are a lot more supercharger stations, but there are also a lot more Teslas. That's what I noticed.
Yes, absolutely. So yeah, I mean, even just on the road, right? Here's a new one. There's another one that passed by. There was one that was parked on the street. There was one in the dealer garage parking lot. I mean, having a Tesla now here in LA, it's like,
It's not a novelty.
yeah, see, here's another why. It's everywhere. It is everywhere.
Now turn right onto 15th Street.
Here we are. New Santa Monica Supercharger that is about 1/3 built. So I charge my
Thank you.
Turo Model Y. Oh, there. Emergency services truck.
Yes. All right. I don't think there's a shade
Yeah,
of
that's
place
correct.
anywhere. Yeah, so there's this lot and then the other lot across the alley.
Opening soon.
Yeah, and that's been like that for a while. So I have to make sure I don't use 4D because that one is broken.
Just look at all the Teslas here. That Model X in front looks like the same color as yours.
Yes, I think that's probably like a used inventory or something. Because it has a paper plate, that means it's a new purchase. But I think it's the used inventory. This is 10C. Okay, so we're good.
It's a very sunny Monday. Joy, thank you so much for giving me the second experience of my lifetime. I really wish my wife was here. So Grace, I know you're here in spirit. I'll share the experience and stories with you when I get back to Singapore very soon.
Yes, hopefully you'll come back again and then we'll do more FSD Beta rides.
Yes.
Yes.
And by then, there'll be so many more owners as well. Elon today, he just mentioned, they're opening up FSD Beta to 160,000 owners in US and Canada.
That's right.
A lot of new people trying FSD Beta for the first time. What's one tip you have for them?
Pay attention, please. Absolutely pay attention. Don't be complacent. You can relax a little bit, but definitely keep a hand on the wheel and don't look at your, smartwatch or smartphone, and don't stare at the screen for too long because you will be alerted and you might get striked out. Yeah, so pay attention. That's the number one thing.
It's been a joy. If you want to have more joy in your life, subscribe to Tesla Joy's YouTube channel. Not just on FSD, but so many other things like events that you have with the community, when you bling out your car, new accessories.
And teaching people how to use this car if you're a brand new owner.
If you found this video useful, you got inspired by FSD Beta, please click the like button. Hit subscribe to join me on more stories to meet Tesla owners experiencing the future coming into our world. Take care. And signing off from Santa Monica.